How's it going, everyone? This is Childhood DVD Fan here. It really feels like it's been a long time since I've sat down and showed you guys my DVDs here. And the one VHS at the end here of Zoey 101. There was only one VHS, and that was Spring Breakup. Any other type VHS is a bootleg and not a mainstream release. So anyways, this video is a video, and I'm just going to keep it here. This is a video that I never thought I would make, but I feel it's the right one to make. Because Zoey 101, if you guys have been watching my channel since the beginning, I have said that Zoey 101 is my all-time favorite live-action Nickelodeon show of all time. And I've always said that Drake and Josh was number 2. Well, I've changed my mind. And here's why I've changed my mind. If you guys saw a few weeks ago, even a month ago, I don't even know how fucking long it's been, I was promised by Jamie Lynn Spears, who played Zoe Brooks, by her agent, that I would have a one-on-one Zoom meet and greet with her. And that did not happen. Thankfully, I did not have to pay the $150 that people did for the experience for the Zoom meet and greet. But it was today, and it was not a official meet and greet. I don't care what, they say, even what Jamie Lynn Spears says, it wasn't a fucking meet and greet. It was you sat down and you were able to ask a few questions, and, you were lucky if she even answered the questions. And, she talked with Chantel Jeffries, who I'm not a fan of. She was just a fan of Zoey 101 like we all were. She wasn't, a main stream, star from the original series. I give credit for them remixing the original song, Follow Me, and making it a little bit different. But, I don't think a lot of hardcore Zoey 101 fans are getting excited on seeing Chantel Jeffries, because she was not in the series. She was not, she really has no relevance. She was just a fan of the show like we all were. No offense, but we don't have any relevance either. If we weren't in the show, we don't have relevance. I don't have relevance. You don't have relevance if you weren't on the show. So, just seeing, Jamie with Chantel Jeffries, and then, you were in a chat, you weren't, on the website, they made it seem like you were going to have a chance to have a one-on-one Zoom meet and greet with Jamie Lynn Spears. That's the way it was advertised. They didn't say it was a group thing. They didn't say it was a chat thing. They said it was a virtual Zoom meet and greet. To me, and to a lot of other people, and I talked to 5 other people who paid the $150, that's what they thought they were getting. And that's what I thought I was getting. And the reason I was able, if you're wondering how I was able to get it for free, it's because of Childhood DVD Fan. That's the reason why. It's because of this channel. They liked that I, was a fan and promoted things, so they offered me the thing for free. But I was not given what I was promised. And I don't think a lot of other people were happy with what they got. There was only like 15 people in the chat with today's thing, and there's going to be another one on the 21st. God only knows if that's going to be different at all, but I wouldn't count on it. And you're only allowed to join one of these, so, you can't join 2, you have to join 1, which is just fucking stupid. But, I don't think a lot of people really liked what they got. I certainly didn't. The people in the chat seem to, fall for it, whatever. But if you're a hardcore fan, this whole, music video with these TikTokers and, that's not what we grew up with. That's not what we did. I understand their motto, what they're trying to do. They're trying to push Zoey 101 to the new generation. But you got to give the old generation more money than what they're, bargaining for. I mean, you got to get the whole gang back together. You got to do it right. If you're going to do a reboot, do it right, okay? We're not at the reboot stage just yet. But if they're gonna go full tilt with this fucking thing, you have to do this right. Whether it's the new or old audience, it has to be the original 10. And the original 10 have not even been together all at one time. But you got to do Jamie Lynn, Sean Flynn, Matt, Chris, Alexa, Victoria, Kristen, Aaron, Austin, Paul, the main cast throughout the 4 seasons of Zoey 101. And we've seen bits and pieces here of most of the cast being together, but there's always somebody fucking missing. There's always someone missing. And they like to kind of like to fuck around with the fans. They've been fucking around with us, since that whole dinner thing in July of 2019. They've just been kind of fucking with us. Playing with our emotions, whatever. And then just this false advertising with the Zoom meet and greet, it was a nightmare. It was not what I was expecting. If I knew it ahead of time what I was going to get, today when it was advertised on the website, if they advertised it better, I would have never paid the $150. Plus, and the reason why it was so much fucking money was because, they're selling merchandise, whatever, but they got a lot of production costs in for shooting the music video for the new Follow Me, which, obviously the original is always going to be the best. I mean, you can't recreate anything original, really. And they just had to make their money back, but the way they made it back was so just scummy. It was scummy. It really was. And for the longest time, I have always put this show as my number 1 favorite. And I've always said, it's just, it'll always be my favorite. But after what has happened the past almost 2 years now, just the way that not just Jamie Lynn, but everyone has kind of done this, kind of fucked around with the fans, in my opinion, about their opinion, and then kind of give us, little tads and pieces, breadcrumbs, but not giving us the whole bread. I don't like when shows fuck around with their audience. I can't support that, and I'm still gonna love this show, okay? This is gonna be number 2 now. This is not gonna be number 1. I cannot have this be number 1. It is not my all-time favorite anymore. I will always love this show. I'll always support this show. I even bought a fucking season 3 Canadian DVD just because they didn't have one episode on the American versions, PCA Confidential. That's how big of a fan I am of this show. But I can no longer say that this is my favorite live-action Nickelodeon show of all time. I can't do it. I've changed my mind. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I will still support the show. I'll talk about it, but it is not number 1 anymore. Because this has now become number 1. You can call me a hypocrite, for the videos I made of, Drake Bell and, which it was still a scumbag move for him to fuck around with an underage girl. But you know what? I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, what the hell are we gonna do about it? It is what it is. But at least with Drake and Josh, they don't fuck around with the fans. They don't make. I mean, Drake Bell did for a tiny bit in 2019 by saying, reboot was in the works and nothing came out. He did kind of fuck around with that, but that was for a very short time. These guys, on the other hand, have been kind of fucking around with this for almost 2 years now without giving us the full bread. So, and so anyways. So, and here with the Christmas movie, they had finished filming season 4 in 2006, and they got back 2 years later. The original gang, all of them got back together. With Zoey 101, we still have never had the 10 main cast members in one room at the same time. Never has happened, okay? But, Drake and Josh, Jonathan, Miranda, Yvette, I mean, all these side characters, they all came back after they were they already finished filming the series because of Dan Schneider, but they came back and gave us the right thing. The Merry Christmas movie, I know it's been 10 years, 10 plus years since that whole thing was filmed and it came out and whatever, but that's the way. It wasn't a reboot necessarily, but if you're going to do something right, that's how you do it, okay? That movie was how you did it, okay? And, they haven't gotten back since then. But that's okay. That's okay. You know, that's okay. I'm okay with that, okay? We've had a few Drake and Josh moments, with them on other shows, Grandfather, whatever, since then. It's okay. But at least after they were done finishing the series and they came back, they did something right. With Zoey 101, they have not filmed anything since Chasing Zoey, the final episode in season 4. They, not even all of them reunited for the All That sketch on Nickelodeon. Alexa wasn't there. Victoria wasn't there. I was going to say Kristen, but Kristen actually was there. But Alexa and Victoria and Austin Butler, they were not there. So to me, you're missing. Technically, Austin Butler was only a main character in season 4, but I still think he's one of the main. He keyword filled in, replaced Sean Flynn for season 4. I talked about that before, but at least with Drake and Josh, they did it the right way. Okay, they did it the right way. They didn't Let's say they did a Drake and Josh movie, or a series, or just a movie or whatever. And let's say Miranda Cosgrove, let's say Megan wasn't there. Is it really the whole gang back together? No, it's not. And with Zoey 101, there's always Victoria's missing, or Alexa's missing, or Austin's missing, or Jamie's missing. It's just they give us pieces of the bread, but they don't give us the whole bread. They gave us the whole piece of bread. So that's why, in my opinion, and just with this whole Zoom meet and greet bullshit, I have to change my mind. I do. I have to change my mind, okay? Drake and Josh was always funnier than Zoey 101. Zoey 101 had some funny moments in it, but, Drake and Josh was more of a comedy series, and Zoey 101 was meant to be more of a fun but more serious series, no laugh tracks, stuff like that. Zoey 101, there are a few funny moments, but overall, you're not sitting there laughing every 5 seconds like you are with Drake and Josh. That they're really two separate shows. I mean, they, besides the name, obviously, and cast being different, they're just presented two completely different ways. And, there's a saying by Kurt Cobain, and I told this to Jeremy earlier today. It's better to burn out than fade away. With Drake and Josh, they burnt out. If they were still trying to milk the series, and there would probably be people missing whatever, people would remember the just attempts since then to kind of milk the series, but give us breadcrumbs, but not the whole piece of bread. And you can't do these shows forever. These shelves have a shelf life, okay? You can't do this forever. But with Zoey 101 here, they're going to possibly reboot this thing. They're all 30 years old. We don't even know if all the main characters are going to be there. We don't know how this is going to happen, what's going to go down. I mean, it's kind of they're fading away, I mean, and also, you got to remember, people, the last season of Zoey 101 was not a good season. This is, when they were still on Nickelodeon and everything. We did not get a good season in season 4 of Zoey 101. We got the most memorable moment from the series when Chase and Zoey finally kissed, but quality was not a good thing in season 4 of Zoey 101. I am very concerned about them doing a reboot with the cast because, A, we don't know how many of the original cast are going to be there and if all of them are going to be there. If Austin Butler's not there, I can understand that, but the rest of them have to be there, including Alexa, because Jamie and Alexa have tied the knot, and I'm sure that, the rest of the cast can tie the knot with her, so she has to be in this as well. For a while I was like, okay, Alexa wouldn't be in something like this, but Jamie and Alexa have finally tied their stupid teenage rivalry after all these years. Because they're both moms now and they realize that fighting over teenage stuff is fucking stupid. But I just don't feel that this is going to be the right, I don't think they're going to do it the right way. I'm 100% confident that this will not be with Nickelodeon at all. You got to remember, these are stars. They're meant to do what other people tell them to do. Okay? They're not meant to be behind the scenes. They're the ones not meant to be, calling things and starring and doing stuff like that in their own series. Okay? They should direct for other series and whatever. But they are stars, okay? They are stars of a show. They are not meant to be both, okay? And I'm just very worried that they're not going to do this properly, and that people might, have a negative reaction to this reboot in saying that it's not going to be what it once was. And no matter what happens with this reboot, supposedly that's happening in 2021 or whenever the fuck, if it even happens, I'm not taking their word for it. Fuck that. I'm not taking their word that they're going to, I'm sure they keep saying they're going to give it to us, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. Whatever they do, they cannot recreate this magic here. And I'm not in most of season 4, you could put the big X with, there was only like 2 memorable episodes, okay? So let's forget about mostly season 4. You cannot recreate this magic right here. This was a once in a lifetime kind of thing right here. Okay? This was done the right way. Okay? This was done the right way. Okay? This whole reboot thing is very worrying to me. I was initially all for it, but the more I sit back and think about it, are they going to fade away with their legacy rather than burning away and making people remember how good things once were, like with Drake and Josh? Okay, Drake and Josh, the series, burnt out rather than fade away. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, and the thing with Drake and Josh is they had the highest ratings in their final season, and you could arguably say that season 4 could have been one of the best seasons in the whole series. So they ended on a very high note with season 4, and then they came back for a Christmas special, and then they said, you know what, we're all getting older, we can't play these characters forever. Let's burn away and let our legacy speak for ourselves. And that's what they did. And they didn't fuck around with the fans and say that, let's try to get all the gang back together and recreate something. But with Zoey 101, they're all going to get back together. And, supposedly all of them are going to get back together. And they're going to try to recreate lightning in a bottle. Well, guess what? You can't create lightning in a bottle twice. Okay? Now, will I watch the reboot if they come back with it? Of course. Of course I'll watch it. Of course I will probably support it, okay? But I am definitely not thinking at all that it's going to be anything close to what this once was. And it's a second coming. This is a second coming, this whole thing. And combine that with the Zoom thing, the fucking around with the fans, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't support it like that. So Drake and Josh taught me a valuable lesson. What Drake Bell did was fucked up. Him fucking with an underage girl. Drake should have fucking known better. But what are we going to do? I mean, it wasn't like, she was 16, 17. She was only a few years under. I mean, it's still fucked up what Drake did, but it's not like Drake, did this with a fucking 5-year-old. If Drake did this with like a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old or whatever, then I'd be done for good. And I thought I was done with a 16, 17-year-old, but it's still not a good thing what Drake did. But at least she was almost there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of fucked up, but that's just my way of thinking about it. Anyways, this has been Childhood DVD Fan. So long, everyone. And if you made it to the end, you're a real one. Hug me, brother.